Welcome back to my mini-series about some of the best countryside adventures that the southeast of England has to offer. If you've missed the last few episodes, I've explored the National Trust gardens in Kent and Sussex, several of which had beautiful architectural backdrops. I've enjoyed wildlife spotting from deer in Kent to impressive birds in Hampshire, and let my hiking shoes hit the trails, sometimes with company and other times solo. In today's episode, I'll be going on a 14-kilometre hike from Hever to Leigh. The walk will take me through the beautiful Garden of England, passing 3 gorgeous villages, 2 stunning castles, and 1 imposing stately home, not to mention the woods, ponds, and rivers along the way. Good morning and welcome to Leigh here in Kent. Today's plan is to walk for 14 kilometres, but we're actually going to start over in Hever and we're going to come back to Leigh. Initially we planned on grabbing a taxi to take us across to Hever to start the walk, but unfortunately this town, as chocolate box and as pretty as it is, doesn't have any taxis. So instead we've come along to the train station. We're going to catch a train over there, but I think it does mean that we're going to need to change at Eden Bridge and then we'll make a start on the hike from there. So let's go. From Eden Bridge station, which is where we're at the moment, down to Eden Bridge town station, and this map really unhelpfully is saying minutes walking distance, and it's completely chopped off the amount of time that it's going to take, so we'll just wander and see. Okay, we're going to need to hop skip to it because we've just gone and googled it and it's going to take 17 minutes to get between the 2 train stations. We also need to buy a new ticket for the next journey, and I think we've got about a 30-minute window between the 2 trains. Up to midday now and we've just seen a bat flying around. I thought these sorts of things only came out at night time. We've only got as far as Hever and our tummies have all started rumbling, so we've stopped off for a little bit of a packed lunch, found a really nice picnic bench not too far from the castle, but from what I can gather I don't think we're going to be able to see the castle from the road. You would need to actually pay for admission to get in. Obviously we've got quite a long hike still ahead of us to get back to where we've parked the car, so we might need to give that a little bit of a miss today. Hever Castle was built in the 15th century and it's where Anne Boleyn grew up and also courted Henry VIII whilst living in the castle. In 1903 William Waldorf Astor purchased Hever Castle and he employed 1,500 men to divert the River Eden so that it could form a brand new lake, and it took 5 years to achieve it. William also went on to build an entire new village. Even though it was in the early 1900s, it was built in a Tudor style, and he put it together so that it could house the employees but also visitors who came to the castle. We're now getting to the point where we're starting to come into the village of Chiddingstone, and I believe that this is probably Chiddingstone Castle behind me. And what a lovely approach into what I believe is going to be an even more lovely village. Was a family who owned a lot of land in the local area, and in the early 1900s they then started to buy property within Chiddingstone village. They'd earned their riches through the iron industry and were selling iron either for the war effort or the local infrastructure. In the early 1800s, Henry Streatfeild changed the look and feel of Chiddingstone village forever. The old manor house that used to be just behind me here was demolished, and over it was built Chiddingstone Castle. To make matters worse, at the old Castle Inn where I'm currently standing, he then blocked it off with the gates that you can see, forcing for the road to have to go around the castle. Why the Streatfeids would have put up the gate and stone walls was to keep out those local villagers, but thankfully today we are now welcome to walk in the gardens of the castle and instead are just asked to make a donation in their honesty box. With the exception of the castle, the church and the school, the rest of Chiddingstone village is now owned and managed by the National Trust and is arguably one of the best Tudor villages left in the UK. Legend has it that the name of the village Chiddingstone comes from this, the Chidding Stone. It's where locals were brought if the wives were of nagging nature or for wrongdoers to be told off or chided. However, there are other people out there who seem to think that the name Chiddingstone probably comes from the Chidder family name. If anyone's watching this video at the moment thinking, I've done this walk before and I don't recognise some of those fields or houses that you've walked through and passed, it might just be because we missed a slight turning and we've gone on a little bit of a detour. It was a rather picturesque detour though, so not complaining, but we are now back on the track. I don't even think we're halfway through this walk, so I think we might need to put a little bit of pep in our step just to get going. So this is the town of Penhurst, and we've just walked across some beautiful fields with an unfortified manor house. And we've then come through a gorgeous church, well, around the outside of the church, and then into this. And I thought that it had half timbered houses, which a couple of them are half timbered, but some of them are even fully timbered. This is quintessential English village countryside life. It is gorgeous here. So we've still got another little bit of a slog to get from this town back up to Leigh, where we parked the car. There is one pub and one tea room. We tried both of them. The pub, they said that we needed a reservation. The tea room, I think that there was a queue of 3 parties in front of us. We would have made 4. So instead we've gone along to the village store that's like the combined with the post office. It was so cute. There's one gas pump outside. It was sold lots of really nice, delicious things, a lot of like fresh produce as well. We decided to go with ice cream, and I've gone with some salted caramel. So I think we're just gonna try and refuel, have a little bit of a rest for a few minutes before we go for that last slog back to Leigh. Well, that was delightful, and it's definitely hit the spot. I think I've got a bit of a sugar rush now to help us get back to Leigh, so let's go. The walk is bringing us along the side of Penhurst Place, which is the manor house here. And unlike Hever Castle, where the walk at the start of the day also took us down the side of the property, we couldn't see Hever Castle, whereas with this it's been really nice because there's been the odd gate that we've been able to look through at the beautifully manicured gardens and the manor house in the background. The manor house, whilst it was built, I believe, in the 14th century, it has been added to over the centuries, and so it's had lots of different styles added throughout the time and as fashions have changed. The Saturday Walkers Club route that we're following describes this last part as a bit of a long stretch back to Leigh. However, I think because we've come in spring, once we've come up onto these hills, we've got to a few parts where the farmers' fields have been full of sheep, and quite a lot of them have had really cute, adorable lambs in them. So so far it's not been too bad. So I appreciate that we've still got quite a way back on this long walk back to Leigh, but we've come down to a little part where there's this gorgeous stream. It's so still, it's almost like glass or a mirror. And if you just listen, all you can hear is just the tweeting of the birds, and you've got beautiful white and yellow wildflowers on either side. And it is very peaceful. Might be a long walk back to Leigh, but so far this and the farmer's fields with the baby sheep, I'm loving it. And we've made it back to Leigh. We are just walking across the cricket green that is in the middle of the village because Andy has spotted a burger van, and I think he's very much got food on his mind. I think he's just really desperate to get out and have some food, which in fairness, it's been just over 4 months since we've last been out, so I don't blame him really. Dinner was absolutely amazing. I had, say, the gyros, but I decided not to film it because I don't know if you've ever tried eating gyros before, but it is not pretty to watch. And we went over and thanked the guys, and they've let us know that they are here in Leigh every Saturday. So if you guys come and do this walk, which is a beautiful, stunning walk that's so varied, then I would say if you're doing this on a Saturday, you've got to go to that van because the dinner was perfect. But I think that's pretty much it for today. We're gonna head back to the car, head off home, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, they're just red leaves, they're not goldfish. Beck's just dying.
Wrong way.
Wrong. Oh. That way. Let's try that one more time. What? William also went on to then build a
Fill in the blank.
What has William built?
Yeah, what did William
I don't
build?
know. Tune in next week to find out.